And we're going to start with a disclaimer here. So it's important that everybody understands that, like all investments, this investment also comes with risk. We work with an exempt market dealer called Equivesto, and we do have an offering memorandum that is available for your review should you wish to proceed with any type of investing. So there's our disclaimer. Our legal team always wants us to make sure that we are upfront with that right from the beginning of our webinars. Now, jumping ahead here, I want to introduce you to the Legend team. So for some of us, faces might look familiar. For others, we're just getting to know each other here. So starting left to right, we've got Christina Marshall on the left. She is our marketing and creative manager. So if you've seen any of our ads on social media, any of our social media posts, receiving emails from us, then Christina is the mastermind, the brains, the creativity, the artist behind all of those pieces. So thank you, Christina, for being a part of our team and all of the creative art that you bring to Legend and our investors and our community. And then beside Christina is Samantha. So Sam is our investor relations manager. So if you've received any phone calls or text messages or you've engaged with Legend, then it's likely to be Sam that is on the other side of that phone call or that text message and some of the email messaging that's coming out to our community as well. So thank you as well, Sam, for always making sure that you're there to connect with our existing investors, potential investors, and just going through any questions that anybody has about Legend. Then myself is next in line. So hi, everybody. My name's Amanda. I'm one of the co-founders, owner and operator of Legend. And then my husband and business partner is Marty Gordon here as well. Marty really focuses on the acquisition components and holds the CEO position at Legend. So jumping ahead here, just to take a deeper dive into our experience for the core team, the core leadership at Legend. Marty and I, as I mentioned, we're married. We're a husband and wife, mom and pop duo here, and we've got 20 years of experience in the real estate investing industry. Now, for myself, I bring senior business leadership experience to the table. And Marty and I have partnered with hundreds of happy investors over the last 20 years, many of which are repeat investors who continue to do investments with us. And I've also provided professional coaching over a number of years. And of course, real estate investing education has been a huge core of our business over this period of time. Now, Marty also brings 20 plus years of construction experience. He's a certified carpenter by trade, but he really focuses on the property selection, market selection. He's the man behind the skillful negotiations of our deals and this meticulous underwriting process that he implements and executes on all of our projects. Now, together, we do have a track record of transforming distressed properties that are underperforming buildings and also acquiring turnkey assets and turning them into high performing investments is really what we focus on at Legend. And from a practical standpoint, we together bring that practical knowledge of emotional intelligence, and we're able to manage projects, manage people, with really equal skill. I'm sure you guys have heard this before, that real estate comes down to being a people business, and Marty and I have been at this together as partners for the last 20 years. And really, we are most passionate about helping other investors to grow without any burnout in ways that you don't need to sacrifice your family or your career or your time, that we provide completely passive investing opportunities to everyday Canadians is truly what Marty and I do. And jumping ahead here to our why. So I'm sure you guys hear this a lot as well, that when the going gets tough, you need to come back to your core and to your fundamentals and say, Why am I doing this? What is the reason why I'm putting some effort and energy into this one particular thing? And the reasons why we invest into real estate, number one, is more time with our family. So here's a picture of us with our little guy. He's 4 now, and we love to just go hiking and spend a lot of time outdoors, and just really that really good family time is the most important thing in our life. We're also looking to create multi-generational wealth as well, and really just take control of our future. I'm very uncomfortable with the idea of somebody else controlling and navigating anything for us. So we've been able to, really take control of our own future through investing in real estate. And at the end of it, profiting in real estate gives you money. But what's important about acquiring money is that it gives you freedom. Okay. Everybody is after more freedom and more time. And if you can use real estate as that investing avenue or that investing vehicle, so to speak, then that's really where the good stuff happens here. So ultimately, we want to help as many families as possible to achieve the same goals that we're looking to achieve, and that is time freedom and money freedom is what we're after. So in today's webinar, let's make real estate investing easy together. Now, we have built Legend Real Estate Trust with everyday Canadians in mind, and we have made this as easy as possible for all of you. So whether you're a brand new individual who's looking to get started investing into real estate, maybe you've never done a deal before, but you know and you understand that one of the best paths forward for that financial freedom and that time freedom is to invest into real estate. I'm going to show you how you can do this as a beginner, or for the tired DIY landlords in the room today. And I've been a tired DIY landlord myself. I feel you. I see you. I've been in the trenches. This is what we've done. I became a landlord when I was 21 years old. This is the only life that I know. And being a DIY landlord is exhausting, and it takes a lot of time out of your life. So I'm going to show those DIY landlords how you can transition to becoming a passive investor and claim your time back. Or perhaps you're a seasoned investor. You've got a great deal of experience. You've got an existing portfolio, and perhaps you're looking for some more diversification. Maybe you've got some stale or tired RSPs that are underperforming and you wish to self-direct them into another option. So these are really the main types of investors that Legend works with on a very regular basis. And of course, we're going to talk about what sets Legend Real Estate Trust apart in today's market, and of course, some action steps. So we are really looking for a commitment from all of you today to say to yourself, let's give a yes, or let's give permission to say no. Is this something that is an opportunity that is going to make your life easier, make your life more profitable, make your life better? If I can show you that path forward, then I'm looking for that commitment from you to give to yourself and to give to Legend today. But if you discover that what I'm offering you on today's webinar is just not your thing, then you've got permission to say, you know what, Amanda, Legend team, no thanks, this isn't for me. I don't want anybody to get stuck in the world of maybe. Maybe is a dangerous place where you're never making a decision, you're not really moving forward. And believe me, your future self is going to thank you when you look back and say, 5 years ago, I decided to make that choice and invest into my future today because it gave me that time freedom, because I had money freedom. And you don't have to choose between building wealth and living well. And I'll show you how. So for our beginners in the room, people who have never invested in real estate before, I want to tell you this, that the perfect time is now, okay? The only other better time to invest into real estate would have been yesterday, Okay. So the perfect time is always now. There's always changes in the market. There are always sensational headlines and negative headlines that are created to just scare you and to frighten you and to, really hold you back. But I promise you, now is the best time to invest into real estate. And I know this because I've been doing this for 20 years and I haven't stopped. So we have seen market cycle changes over the last 20 years. We've seen CMHC rule changes, landlord tenant legislation changes. We've successfully profited and navigated through a pandemic and post-pandemic, and now we're entering into, trade war and just new uncharted territory with real estate investing. But something has stayed consistent all the way through, and that is investing into multifamily real estate. That we've been able to weather recessions because people always need housing at the end of the day. So the best time to invest is now, and to not put it off any further and not wait to say, oh, I'm going to time the market, because that is not what real estate investors do. They take action and they say, today, what can I do to secure my family's future of finances, and actually make a decision and make that change? The second thing to be cautious of here as a beginner is not overloading on stocks and ignoring some diversification. We're going to touch on this in a couple slides here as well. But if you invest with a financial planner and you've got everything into your public markets, then maybe it's time that you look at diversification and investing into real estate and investing into some private real estate as well. Because having some balance within your portfolio is very important in having that diversification. So you don't have all eggs in one basket, okay? And the next piece is building your team and making sure that you've got the right people on your team to offer you guidance, to help you with your goal setting, and ultimately provide, investments that are in line with your goals, whether it be short-term goals, long-term goals, and just overall that big picture planning. And making sure that those people truly have the experience that is necessary and that is required in order for you to be making money in real estate as expected. And then also the power of passive investing. So most people commonly think that investing into real estate means that you need to go and buy a rental property and that you need to be the one to become a landlord and be answering those phone calls and fixing leaky toilets and doing renovations and all of those headache type items. And it's just simply not true that there are incredible passive investing opportunities that are offering active, active level property returns without ever touching a hammer, without ever dealing with a tenant, without ever needing to do the daily operations of what it actually takes to run a real estate portfolio. That, I've heard through my coaching in the last 20 years and working with investors that they say, well, I would like to eventually become a passive investor, but I think I should start by becoming a landlord or, flipping properties or doing it myself for a period of time. And what I've learned over these last 20 years is my advice to people right now is don't do it. Don't bother going through the headaches of market selection, property selection, negotiations, trying to get mortgage approval, closing on a property, dealing with tenants, dealing with renovations, dealing with your reporting and all of those pieces. Skip all of that, okay? Cut the line. Don't worry about doing any of that work if you can go forward with a passive opportunity that is going to present targeted returns of approximately the same as if you were doing it yourself, okay? What is the cost of your time? So passive investing is extremely powerful and a great opportunity that's available to all of you today. And number 5 is having that clear long-term plan. So, most people have a job have a family, have hobbies, want to have some downtime, want to take care of yourself, and so on and so forth. That investing into real estate doesn't have to take away from your existing life in order to fit in line with your financial goals. So, again, just really focusing on those passive elements and having that clear long term plan ahead of you, and to say, what can I do today? How is that going to benefit me a year from now? How about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and so on? So, really having a clear path forward and not running blind into an investment that you don't understand. So that is my, top 5 points on how an investor can begin investing into real estate if you're brand new and you've never done anything like this before. So I'm just going to pause for a second here. I've got all of my screen shrunk. I just want to check in on the chat here. If anybody has questions along the way, please don't be shy. Go ahead and drop any questions in the chat. I will pop in periodically. If you want to use the Q&A feature, then you can do that as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and have a little peek here. Okay, so it looks like we don't have any questions as of yet, which is just fine. But excellent. Sam, Christina, please keep dropping my calendar link here in the chat here. In case you have to pop off early, your next step is to book a call with me, book a strategy call with me. So my calendar link is in the chat. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and click that link. I've opened up a few more time slots specifically for our webinar attendees. So just go ahead and book a time with me so that we can talk one-on-one, talk strategy about your goals and how and if you would like to move forward. Okay, so let's go ahead and speak to our tired landlords, our tired DIY landlords who are in the room today. So I'm sure that people have said to you, oh, real estate investing is passive. And anybody who is a landlord, whether you have one investment property or you've got 6 or you've got 25 investment properties, this is not a passive game if you are the one who is the landlord and you are the one who is out there selecting your property, doing those negotiations, closing on a property, dealing with your tenants, so on and so forth. Even if your property is in management, property management, this still requires managing your manager. So, and then managing your investment as well. So there truly is, for the DIY folks in the room here, that this is not passive, and this can easily be a side hustle that starts to take over your life quickly. Marty and I started investing into real estate, as I mentioned earlier, when I was 21 and he was 24. And this is all we did. And our friends and family used to think that we were crazy in the beginning because they would see us working our full-time jobs. I was working at a gym in the fitness industry. Marty was in construction, completing his apprenticeship. And we would literally work our full-time jobs every single day. And then we would go to our investment properties every night and be working on them every weeknight, throughout the weekends, on holidays. We were not taking vacations in our 20s as our friends were. We had not started a family in our 20s as our friends were, because we were busy building our empire. We know what it takes. We've been in the trenches. So I see you, I feel you if you are a DIY landlord. But I'm here to provide you with an option that you can claim your time back. You don't have to keep doing this on your own, especially if you can achieve targeted returns of, say, 15 to 20% annually with flexible cash flow options. Then maybe a passive investment strategy is better suited to your lifestyle goals while you can still achieve financial goals as well. So one of the ways that many existing investors start to transition into passive is by leveraging the equity that you've already got in an existing portfolio. So up here on the screen here, I've got some simple math on, how you can leverage an existing rental property and really start to grow your equity without spending any more time into your rental business. So let's imagine you've got an investment property that is worth $800,000, okay? And I've just picked this number for example purposes. This means that you are likely to be able to go 65% loan to value if you were to put a HELOC on this property. Let's assume that you can go all the way to 65% loan to value. This means you can hold debt on the property of $520,000. Assuming that you've got an existing mortgage, that you don't own it free and clear, but you've got an existing mortgage on your property for $350,000, this means that you could access $170,000 of your equity in that property. You can extract it and then take that money and go invest it elsewhere. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a second there because this is a strategy that I have taught to my students for many, many years, coaching people in real estate, that this is how investors really start to grow their portfolio. You leverage your existing equity in your existing properties without costing you any more time by putting a HELOC. So HELOC stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. That if you can gain access to that existing equity, take those funds, turn around and invest, now you're growing your portfolio. And better yet, if you invest into passive investing, it's again not costing you any more time, but you're growing that wealth within your portfolio. So I'm just going to pause again and just check. If anybody's got questions, please go ahead and drop them into the chat. If you've used the HELOC strategy, share, let us know. Have you done this? It's been incredibly successful for many, many of my coaching students and fellow investors that I know over the years, that this is probably the number one strategy that I see existing investors use to grow their portfolio. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and carry on. So for my next group of investors in the room here, the seasoned investors. Now, I'm talking to the investors in the room who might already have some passive investing, who probably has a couple investment properties, that you might be looking for some more diversification within your portfolio. So the first four investments that are listed here on the screen, most of us are pretty familiar with this type of investing. If you've gone to the bank or you've worked with a financial advisor, these are probably the ways that you've typically invested your funds already. So the first one is cash. And this is probably the least profitable way to hold your family's wealth, because if you just have a bunch of cash sitting in the bank, you're probably not keeping up with inflation. So, it's often a good idea to keep some level of cash, a cushion, so you can have your living expenses. But cash, this is likely to be the least profitable way, the least profitable vehicle for you to hold your money is in cash format. The next is bonds, also known as fixed income securities. So the way that this is invested is you're actually lending the money to the government or a company. So you're buying bonds and you're going to profit a small return from that. You also have the opportunity to buy publicly traded stocks or shares, also known as equities. And this means that you are actually becoming a part owner in a publicly traded company, and you'll make a small return by buying stocks or shares or equities. You also have the opportunity to buy into mutual funds or investment funds. And these are typically a collection of investments like the stocks and the bonds. And more often than not, you're working with somebody who manages your portfolio on your behalf that is helping you to select, a variety of these stocks, bonds, shares, and putting them together into a portfolio. So the benefit to this type of investing is that it's accessible to everybody. It's easy to do if you're working with somebody who's familiar in these types of markets and you make a little bit of a return from it. Now, the cons to this type of investing is that, the returns are kind of small, that it isn't something that is super exciting. And oftentimes, this type of investing is tied to the publicly traded markets, which are often responding to headlines and volatility in the markets that you have little to no control or even line of sight on. So, what we're seeing a lot of right now with today's headlines and what's the latest that's going on with trade wars or government policies or these world leaders that are fighting and wars and so on, that people are seeing the volatility of their investing markets based on these crazy headlines that are out of your control. So I would say that is the biggest con to this type of investing. Now, I wouldn't, suggest to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say, that I think there's often value in some level of diversification overall in your portfolio. That if you have a piece of your pie that is in the publicly traded markets, then that is for you as the investor to decide what percentages that actually looks like. Now, the bottom two options here are real estate. So you can buy real estate, you can buy commercial, residential, land, you can invest into mortgages, you can invest into equity. So we're talking about bricks and mortar real estate. Now, I am a big advocate of investing into real estate, as I have been for the last 20 years, successfully, consistently profiting in real estate. And I'll temper that with, we've also never lost $1 of investor capital through our entire investing career ever. That real estate has been tried and true, not just for myself, not just for my company, not just for the investors we've already worked with, but most people who are investing in real estate are doing pretty good with their investments in real estate. You also have the option, and maybe you're just getting familiar or this is a new strategy to you, to invest into private securities, such as a private REIT. Now, REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. This is an investment vehicle that owns, operates, or finances income-generating real estate. This is not an investment that is publicly traded, and it is not listed on the public stock exchange. So these are typically the blend within your portfolio that you can kind of pick and choose and say, what percentages of these types of investments do I want to select in order to diversify my portfolio? Now, in my opinion, a private REIT is a superior option to all of the above that we just went through in terms of investing options. Now, private REITs, the benefits are that they're not publicly traded, so they're not tied to the volatility of the headlines that we're seeing now, today, more than ever. So we are not publicly traded, and you've got potential for higher returns if you're investing into a private REIT. We are structured in tax-friendly structures as well, and it requires no time from the investor whatsoever. And it offers you diversification within your portfolio, even diversification within the investment within your portfolio, because a REIT is typically a group of properties, that it's a growing portfolio of properties, so you get further diversification. Now, for Legend, for my company, Legend Real Estate Trust more specifically, investors have the opportunity to subscribe to Class A trust units, and you can use any Canadian registered account in order to invest into Legend by self-directing your account and keeping all of your tax shelter benefits. So this could be a new strategy to you, maybe something you've never heard of before. So I'm going to say it again. If you have an RRSP, RESP, TFSA, LIRA, RIF, LIF, any Canadian registered account that you feel is underperforming, providing you with less than 15 to 20% annual returns, you have the option to take control over your own registered account and self-direct it into an investment such as a private REIT and keep all of your tax shelter benefits. So imagine that. What would that do for your finances if now suddenly your RSP was producing 15 to 20% annual returns? Ask yourself, is this going to get you closer to your retirement goals? Is this going to get you closer to your financial goals without taking away any of those lifestyle and time freedoms that all of us are so desperate to have more of? Within Legend, you've also got access to a growing portfolio of properties, and you get to benefit from the equity growth of real bricks and mortar real estate. And right now, you've got a chance to get in on the ground floor right now. We're targeting quarterly distributions, and we do have flexible cash flow options as well. So what that means is some investors like to receive their cash flow on a quarterly basis, and others for tax purposes say, no, thank you, I don't wish to receive cash flow. And we offer flexible options for our investors. I want to talk here for a moment about why Ontario, Canada is still one of our top investing markets. We specifically focus on cities that have very, very strong fundamentals, education sectors, healthcare, tech cities like Waterloo, Guelph, London, and surrounding area is where we have successfully built our portfolio and have continued to profit in real estate. That we truly believe that these are those strong fundamentals that allow real estate to be stable and profitable. In these types of cities, it combines that student rental demand, the employment stability, and low vacancy rates, often 2% or below as per CMHC statistics. Marty and I have a deep local expertise, and we have access to off-market opportunities since we've been in the industry for so long. We are actively building new relationships and continuing to grow relationships with developers and with builders, that we have deals being presented to us that are not even on the market because of these relationships that we've built over the last 20 years. We've also developed, great tenant relations and tenant strategies for these particular properties that we're looking to acquire within Legend. And this also allows us is staying within this targeted, geographic area is for the real boots on the ground insight while we can apply our systematized approach and our scalable investment model that we've been building and are continuing to build for the last 20 years. So a couple key points here that I want to summarize for all of you is that we're acquiring a multifamily property in a high demand Ontario university city with an extremely low vacancy rate. So this is a picture of the property that we're working on right now, 144 Lucan in Waterloo, Ontario. This is a stabilized cash flowing asset that's already undergone a major repositioning with complete tenant turnover already. It truly is a turnkey cash flowing asset, and it's located within walking distance of major employers like Google. We're right on the transit route as well for bus and train. We're right by the Victoria Hospital and the healthcare industry and those student demand hubs. We're less than 10 minutes to the University of Waterloo, to Wilfrid Laurier University, and also Conestoga College. the location of this particular asset is checking all of those boxes for us in terms of location, 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 which again is those basic fundamentals to real estate investing. This truly is an exclusive opportunity that I'm providing access to all of you today. We do have limited space available to come into this investment right now. We're a small team, as I showed you. We're small and mighty. We're lean, we're mean, however we want to say. But we've got capacity to onboard about 10 new investors for this month alone. And we are looking for an average commitment of 50,000 for each of those investors. Our unit price just increased by 7%. So we want you to get in now so you get to benefit from our next price increase that will be coming up. So my offer to you, this truly is a real vetted opportunity, and you get to explore how you can partner with us on our current and our next multifamily projects without ever becoming a landlord. You've got access to our systems, our strategy, our support that has allowed us to manage over 20 years of successful real estate projects and protect every dollar of investor capital that has ever been trusted to myself and Marty. We've never lost $1 of investor capital, and we do all of the heavy lifting for you. From the underwriting, the acquisition, if there's renovations, and all of the management, that you truly get to have that equity ownership and the peace of mind. And you also get access to myself and Marty because we are that smaller team right now, that you do have access to who the trustees are of Legend. So here is our offering kind of summarized in a nutshell, if you will. So the details of the investing offering, again, we do have a full offering memorandum, and we are working with Equivesto as our exempt market dealer. We're offering Class A trust units at $10.70 per unit. Our minimum investment is $10,000, and we are looking for an approximate average commitment of $50,000 per investor. Our targeted annual returns are 15 to 20% annually, which includes a preferred return of 8%. And this is your cash flow that can be paid quarterly to you. Or if you want to choose the DRIP program, the dividend reinvestment program, this offers a 2% incentive for you to reinvest your dividend into the fund rather than receive your cash flow. The investment vehicles that we accept are cash, of course, or as I mentioned, you can use any Canadian registered account, our RSP, our ESP, TFSA, LIRA, etc. You can self-direct your registered account into Legend while keeping all of your tax shelter benefits. You're not cashing it out, you're self-directing your account. And the investor suitability is we've opened this up to as many Canadians as we possibly could. So we accept eligible investors as well as accredited investors. And for our friends in Quebec, this means that you need to be an accredited investor if you are in Quebec. If you've got questions about that, of course, we're more than happy to go through all of those particulars and those details. Next steps are to book a strategy call with me. I want to connect with you one-on-one. Christina, Sam, I know you've been dropping my calendar link here in the chat. Let's make sure that that's available for everybody. So please go ahead and book a call with me is the very best next step. It's a strategy call. So we're going to talk about, are you one of our brand new investors? Are you a tired landlord? Are you a seasoned investor? So we'll talk about your investing experience. We'll talk about your investing goals. And then, of course, we'll discuss what Legend has to offer and if this could be a good fit for you. Now, at the beginning of the call here, I asked you guys to make a commitment and to say to yourself, is this going to be a yes or is this going to be a no? We don't want maybes. This gets you stuck in that stuck in a rut to say, maybe one day in the future, blah, 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 excuses for yourself. So you want to make a decision for yourself and say, do I want to secure more time freedom for myself, for my family? And am I willing to make that change for myself today and to do that through investing in real estate? Today is your day to actually make that change, to make that choice. And the first step forward is to just book a call with me, a real conversation, no pressure. You've got permission to say no. And of course, permission to say yes as well. But just make sure that you go ahead and book that call with me. My calendar link is in the chat. We've also got up here on the screen. You can email us info@legendinvestments.ca. You're welcome to phone or to text our number, 519-964-8895. Or if you're really just looking to dig for some more information about Legend, our website is up on the screen as well. So I'm going to leave this slide up here. That is the end of today's presentation. I want to thank everybody for joining us here this afternoon. We appreciate your time and participating in today's webinar. If you want to stick around a little bit longer, I'll answer some questions and I will look forward to connecting with you one-on-one during our strategy call. So I will leave this up on the screen here to give everybody an opportunity to write down our contact information and make sure that you get booked into my calendar as soon as possible. So thanks again. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you on our call.
Hi, Amanda. There's some questions in the Q&A.
I see that. I just opened that up, which is amazing. Perfect. So I've got some questions here. One question that came in, our first question is Legend REIT backed by Security Commission? Yes, we are regulated by the Ontario Security Commission, and we are working with Equivesto as our exempt market dealer, or EMD for short. So the answer is yes, we are regulated by the Ontario Security Commission. And next question is how investors will receive the 15 to 20% return. Again, great question. So there's two ways that investors profit through investing in Legend. The first is the cash flow option or preferred return, and that is targeted returns of 8% annualized return. And the second component is through equity growth. So as we pay down the mortgage each month, if we increase rents or income at our buildings, the equity grows. As we add more properties into our portfolio, and just even through generic market growth, our equity grows as well. And our targeted returns for the equity component is 7 to 12%. And this is reflected in your unit price or the unit value, and that's realized upon redemption. So 8% through cash flow plus 7 to 12% through equity growth gives us a total targeted return of 15 to 20% annualized. So the next question is, how many properties in Legend's portfolio? So we are working on our flagship property right now, which is that 60-unit apartment building in Waterloo, Ontario. And we are right on the cusp of closing on this property. We're just waiting for CMHC to provide us with our closing date. Everything is submitted, everything is ready to go. And we are just waiting for our COI to come back right now. Now, Marty and I do have 20 years of experience investing into real estate, and we bring all of that experience to the table. We are hands-on owners and operators of Legend Real Estate Trust. And then next question, is there a risk to be aware of in this investment? The short answer is yes. So like all investments, this one comes with risk. And we do have a full offering memorandum that is available for your review. I would say the next best step is for you to book a call with me. So if you haven't already, just go ahead and grab my link from the chat there and go ahead and book in a call. Let's talk one-on-one. We can talk about any of your concerns. If there's risks in particular that you're worried about, let's have a look at that, and we'll make sure that the OM, or the offering memorandum, is made available for you as well.
Amanda, there's a question in the actual chat as well as the Q&A.
Thank you very much. Can we invest systematically? 10, 10, 10. Yes, absolutely. So our minimum investment is $10,000, but many of our investors have looked forward into long-term planning to say, can I invest more into the future with Legend? And the answer is yes. So $10,000 gets you into the fund. You don't need to invest any more than that if you don't wish, but you can certainly continue to invest beyond that initial contribution. So we are looking for, again, that average commitment size of 50,000 is what Legend is looking for approximately 10 investors. We've got capacity to bring in for this month alone. But if you do want to get started with 10,000 and then do another 10,000 and then another 10,000, then we would welcome that opportunity for you. You can also combine accounts as well. So you can do 10,000 cash, and then you can pull, 10,000 from your RRSP or any of those registered accounts that we've seen quite a few investors actually go that route. That if you want to combine investment accounts to even make up that first $10,000, then you can do that as well. But if you've got any questions, then certainly just book that one-on-one with me, and we can have a look at your individual situation and say, what are your financial goals? What is your budget? How and if Legend is a good fit for all of those pieces, including your lifestyle. And yes, Dirk, I agree. It is great flexibility. I'm glad to hear the feedback from you. Thank you for your question. Okay, amazing. Another question is how and when can you draw the equity portion of your investment funds? So you don't draw your equity until you're actually redeeming your units into the future. So you've got that 8% cash flow option that is distributed quarterly, calculated annually. So if you wish to receive your cash flow every 3 months, then that's an option for you. Or if you want to reinvest that into the fund, then you can do the DRIP program, the dividend reinvestment program. And how that works is you're actually buying additional units at the current price, but a 2% discount or 2% incentive to do the DRIP program. Then your investment really starts to grow and you get a great compounding effect as well. So we're flexible on the cash flow component. Now from the equity, this is represented through your unit price. So this is realized upon redemption. So say fast forward 5 years in the future, and let's imagine that you had initially purchased 5,000 units, then you bought in today at $10.70 per unit. Presumably our unit price has gone up. You would be redeeming in the future at the current price that we're selling for at that time, and that's how you would draw the equity component from your investment, would be through redemption. You can also do a partial redemption in the future if you wanted to as well. So again, flexible when we're looking at that long-term planning. But I would encourage you to book that one-on-one strategy call with me so that we can talk about your individual situation. If you're approaching retirement, or maybe you're just getting started into your investment path, let's have a look at where you are. Again, I've got nearly 20 years of coaching people professionally through investment strategy as well in real estate. So let's have a chat. Let's talk about your investing background, your current goals, and just see how and if Legend could be a good fit into your current situation. So profits here. So another question here. So profits come from rent or buy low, sell high properties. So we're focused on really buy and hold strategy. What I've learned over the last 20 years is that real estate investing is not a quick and dirty. So you're not going to get in and get out with these major profits as you see, on TV or somebody lying to you on social media. What's tried and true is buy and hold real estate, sticking to the fundamentals, investing into solid markets, as I mentioned, with the education sectors, healthcare, cities that are investing into tech and transportation. Those are the places that you want to invest into. You want to rent to quality tenants and have, quality employed tenants for those good buildings is what we're looking for. And that's how we profit in real estate, is primarily focusing on turnkey assets that are in a cash flow positive position and then holding them long term is where we're focused for Legend. Okay, so just going through, oh, some of my questions disappeared. Did I get them all?
There are a couple left. There's the minimum time.
Oh, there's a second category. Thank you, Christina.
No problem.
Okay. Is there a minimum time period for an investor to hold units? We built the structure of Legend with investors in mind. Keep in mind that both Marty and I have been professional real estate coaches for a number of years. So we had seen what is so important to investors, and flexibility was one of them. So ideally, you stay in the fund for a 5-year period. But if you need to leave early or you need to redeem early, then it is an option for you. You would just pay a small redemption fee at that time if there's a life circumstance that happened. But again, going back to the basic principles of real estate, we want to focus on that long-term buy and hold so that you can see the profits, you can see the cash flow and the growth. 5 years is what we're looking for, but there are options to exit early if required. It also doesn't mean that you have to leave at 5 years either. So ideally, you stay in the fund even for a longer period of time. So you do have many options beyond the 5-year period as well. Okay, so it looks like we're kind of to the end of our questions here. I'm going to give it a moment if there are any other questions that come in. I'll pop over into the chat and see here. Well, looks pretty good. Sam, Christina, had you also dropped links for our investor deck and for our socials if anybody wants to be following us online?
Socials have been dropped,
Okay.
and we are suggesting that people head over to our website and download our deck.
Excellent. Okay, so they can do that. So if you're looking for the investor deck, just kind of a deeper dive into our business model, then the deck will go through that. If you're looking to participate in our free real estate investor community, that is the Legend Inner Circle. This gives you free access to connect with thousands of real estate investors. Some people are brand new, all the way through seasoned investors. There's some great, opportunities in there, people sharing about their knowledge, their experiences. You have the chance to interact with myself and Marty directly as well. So if you haven't already, be sure to join the Legend Inner Circle. This is one of those groups that is actually moderated, and a lot of the feedback we get is that it's a no BS type of group because Marty's in there sincerely moderating the group on a regular basis. So make sure that you join the Legend Inner Circle. This is a great amount of that, community feel within the real estate industry, but a ton of value that we're offering for free for everybody as well. And then Ravinder's asking a link to the Facebook, please. So it's just above there, Ravinder, for the Facebook group. You can go ahead and join today. Okay, amazing. So I think that looks like we've come to the end of our time today. So in closing, I want to thank everybody once again for joining us on today's webinar. Really great questions that came out towards the end there as well. I'm going to leave the room open for a few more minutes if you need to get some of the links out of the chat. Or if you haven't booked that strategy call with me, please do so right away. The link is in the chat there as well. Even up on the screen, you've got our contact information to get a hold of us. But again, let's make today be the day that you do something different to take more control over your financial future so that you've got that time freedom and ultimately created through money freedom. So thank you once again, everybody. Have a fabulous day, and we'll connect soon, one-on-one for that strategy call. Take care. Bye-bye.